The city pulsed with life, a symphony of noise and movement. But for Rhys, it could all fade into silence. One breath, one thought. Time stuttered, then froze. Rhys, a whisper of wind in a world of statues, surveyed the frozen tableau. Cars stood suspended mid-traffic, their horns locked in silent screams. Pedestrians were caught mid-stride, expressions frozen in surprise or laughter. This was his gift, his burden to command time itself, but only in the face of danger. Rhys honed his power over the years, mastering the stillness that clung to him like a second skin. He moved through the frozen city, a phantom unseen, a guardian unheard. His touch was a whisper of displaced air, his passing marked only by the soft sigh of resuming time. He saved lives, countless lives, snatching them from the jaws of accidents and disasters. Yet he remained unknown, a silent protector in the shadows. For Rhys, the silence was a prison of his own making. Each frozen moment was a stark reminder of his isolation. He yearned for connection, for someone to share his secret, his burden. He craved the warmth of a touch that wouldn't fade when time resumed its relentless march. Then he met Amara. Her laughter was a melody that cut through the city's din. Her eyes, the colour of a summer sky, held a spark that mirrored his own. In her presence, the world shifted. The silence no longer felt like a burden, but a sanctuary. He found himself drawn to her, his control tested by the very air she breathed. Amara, oblivious to his secret, drew him out of the shadows. She filled his world with laughter, with colour, with a love he never thought he could experience. He cherished every stolen moment, every shared smile, knowing that their time together was a precious, fragile thing. He was terrified of revealing his secret, of the fear it might ignite in her eyes. So he kept his distance, a silent guardian angel watching over his unsuspecting love. One evening as they walked along the harbour, a rogue wave crashed against the pier. Amara, caught off guard, stumbled towards the edge. Rhys reacted instinctively. The world lurched, time screeching to a halt. The wave hung suspended, a monstrous claw of water poised to strike. He held his breath, his heart pounding against his ribs. This was different. This time the danger was directed at the woman he loved. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced him. He had never frozen time for this long, never pushed his power to its limit. The world wavered, the edges of his vision blurring. He could feel the strain, the desperate plea of his body urging him to let go. But Amara, she was still in danger. He could save her, shield her from the wave's fury. He knew he could, but the price was his own life. The realization hit him with the force of a physical blow. To save her, he would be trapped in this frozen moment forever. His love, his life, everything he held dear would be gone. His gaze fell on Amara, her face etched with fear, her eyes wide with terror. In that moment, the decision was made. He loved her more than life itself, more than the fear that threatened to consume him. With a surge of desperate power, Rhys pushed past the exhaustion, past the pain that ripped through him. He channeled every ounce of his being into shielding Amara, into holding back the wave for just a moment longer. Time fractured, the edges of reality fraying around him. He felt himself slipping, his consciousness fading into the abyss. The last thing he saw before the world dissolved into blinding light was Amara's face. The fear had vanished, replaced by a look of wonder and love? Then silence. A silence deeper than any he had ever known. A silence that stretched into eternity. The world resumed its spin. The wave crashed against the pier, harmlessly showering the pavement with sea spray. Amara stood there untouched, her eyes searching the empty air where Rhys had stood just moments before. She didn't understand what had happened, why her heart ached with a grief so profound it threatened to swallow her whole. But as she watched the sun rise, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, she felt it. A whisper of warmth, a fleeting touch on her cheek, and in that moment she knew she was loved. Loved beyond measure, beyond sacrifice, beyond even death itself.